Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. I'd like to begin by congratulating Liberal Democrats for bringing forward what is a ringing denunciation of the SNP's record on education. And education is what brought myself, and I'm sure many other people, into politics, where you can do some work, try your hardest to create a Scotland of opportunity where you can get on no matter where you live, no matter who you are. And that's what drives many members on the Labour side and myself, and that's why education and our children, I think, should be at the very heart of our thinking and our politics. And our ambition is to have the best education system in the world, where no one is left behind and where all young people can develop to their full potential. And we do face significant challenges here in Scotland, and I think we all recognise that. But as has been said, working with the Liberal Democrats in government, Labour made real progress in improving our education system, including the delivery of the biggest school building programme Scotland has ever known. But of course the SNP has squandered that progress. And yet, now more than ever, we need a world-class education system. As we seek to come through the global financial crisis, we simply cannot afford to waste the talent of a single person. And of course, the SNP election manifesto made lots of promises in education, so many of them now ditched or broken. On class sizes, they said they'd deliver class sizes of 18 in primaries 1 to 3 by 2011. The latest figures show that at the current rate of progress, that promise won't be delivered until 2096. Teacher numbers are down by 1,000, making a mockery of the SNP's manifesto promise to maintain teacher numbers in the face of falling roles. And to reverse the previous government's record numbers of teachers is bad enough, but to preside over the loss of 1,000 jobs in 1 year since coming to office is quite simply unforgivable. And Scotland's teachers will not forgive the SNP. No, you didn't take an intervention from me, so I'm quite happy to take an intervention from other people, but I think you've actually got something to learn and should maybe try listening. And newly qualified teachers aren't getting jobs. Barely a day goes by without me receiving another heartbreaking email from a newly qualified teacher desperate for work, still passionate about their chosen career, but bewildered and increasingly angry about an SNP government that has misled them cruelly over empty promises about a teaching career. And what's happening to... Yes, indeed.
Fiona Hislop.
That the post-probationers currently seeking jobs started their training under the workforce planning devised, implemented and decided upon by the administration of the Labour Liberal Democrats?
Rhona Brankin.
Liberal Democrats, we got 53,000 teachers, a record number of teachers, and in 1 year you have lost 1,000. On school buildings, the SNP pledged to match Labour's school building programme brick for brick. To be fair, Alex Salmond and Fiona Hislop are scuttling around in ministerial cars, opening quite a few new schools, and every one of them commissioned by the previous government. And what's happened to the SNP government's promise to have over 20,000 teachers in training between 2007 and 2010? Yet another empty promise. We now know that teacher training places are being cut. And new schools, a total abject failure. Scuttling around, opening new schools started by the previous government. Last night I met two outstanding pupils from Lasswade High School, both the first from their families to be going to university. Lasswade, a great school, but with school buildings that are simply not fit for purpose. Category D. Midlothian Council was told by the previous Labour Education Minister that Lasswade High School was a priority for the new round of funding. And yet, here we are today, an SNP government and still no plans for Lasswade. No new school now before the next election. Simply, it's a disgrace. And on nursery education, the SNP manifesto promised to increase access to nursery teachers. But no amount of SNP spin can hide the truth of the real figures that the government's own statisticians use, which show a cut in whole-time equivalent nursery teachers. And maybe the Cabinet Secretary should listen to this, because it would be very interesting to get an honest response for once. That's fewer nursery teacher hours, not more, and I challenge the Cabinet Secretary to tell the truth for once on this issue. Because these failures are a serious matter. They put at risk the progress made in the last decade at Holyrood and in local authorities across the country, because you simply cannot run an education system by press release. And SNP spin won't build new schools, SNP spin won't teach a single child to read, and SNP spin will not employ any teachers. This government has presided over the worst ever education budget settlements since the establishment of the Scottish Parliament. The recently released figures on pupil expenditure show that clearly. The lowest improvement, 0.3% in real terms, since the start of the Scottish Parliament, and no amount of spinning can get you away from that. The worst education spending in 10 years. And Ministers, that's not political point scoring, that is simply the truth. I urge members to support our amendment in this debate. Thank you.